everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. I'm Stephen Cabral, board-certified naturopathic doctor, and I am ready to get started with this weekend's Cabral House Calls. We've got so many great questions coming in. I'm excited to answer those. They're on everything from wellness to weight loss to anti-aging and everything in between. Each weekend, if you are new to the show, what we do is we take our community's questions. People write in at stephencabral.com/ask Cabral. That is the only place where we're able to take your questions. If you email us, we are always happy to give you a response. If you join our support group, we are always happy to give you a response there. People don't know about that, but we have a private support group on Facebook called Cabral Support Group. Just go to cabralsupportgroup.com, and that will take you to that Facebook page. That's a private page. Only people from this podcast or who maybe purchase a Dr. Cabral Detox or the Candida Protocol find out about it. You are welcome to join that as well. We just look for positive people. Yes, they're struggling. Yes, they're looking to solve an issue, and we are happy to help, but what we want is we just want other people who are there to support other people and keep the negativity outside. That's all we ask for. We're happy to help in every way that we can. We share free recipes there every single Wednesday. Our holistic health coach, Julia Hayes, shares some great recipes that can be used with the detox as well. And that's it. So I'm happy to have you join either one of those ways. But if you want my advice, you go to stephencabral.com/ask Cabral, and you can ask your question there, and I'd be happy to answer that on our weekend host calls. Now we are about 30 questions behind. So this will be the start of me looking back and referencing previous shows, because a lot of questions have been answered in depth, meaning like I give 10 to 15 minute answers on an entire Cabral Concept podcast. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to link back to some of those shows where applicable, and then I'm going to answer questions that are maybe new. So let's get started now. But before we get started with today's first question, I need to go back to Macy's question last week on episode 569. She was asking about children with seizures. One thing that I forgot to mention, and that's why, sometimes I'm allowed to go back and give a little extra recommendation. Right when I ended that podcast, I said, I forgot to mention CBD oil. A lot of people don't know that children can use CBD oil. And the reason they don't know that is because they equate CBD oil with marijuana. And the difference is CBD stands for, or is a short term for, cannabinoids or cannabinol, and those cannabinols don't have any psychoactive effect. Instead, what you get are all the benefits without the psychoactive high. And believe it or not, this is pretty amazing. One of the main studies right now, the main research and the main results that we've gotten is how well CBD oil works with seizures, pain, epilepsy, inflammation, anxiety. It's amazing. So what's the difference? Well, the big difference is that our dosage is the highest potency. It's all organic, all that great stuff. So of course it's okay for people to use. There's no pesticides. Is that you would just start with less. What does that mean? Well, an adult would probably use a half a dropper to start. They could certainly use more. But for a child, they could just start with 3 drops to 5 drops, and you could simply see how that works for them. Again, feel free to look up the research on your own. Just type in CBD oil and seizures, and you'd be able to see more answers on that. Okay, so I thought I would add that. And now Camille is up next. Camille is asking, hi, Dr. Cabral. In my house, you are known as Cabral. I talk about you and quote you so much, we've just shortened it to Cabral. Camille, that's funny. Most people, believe it or not, just refer to me as Cabral. Like my friends growing up, through high school, in college, I was always just Cabral. It works for me. I think that's great. Anyway, I use your all-in-one shake and daily fruits and vegetable powder in smoothies I make every single day for my husband and I. I also take your activated B vitamin every day. I've completed one of your 7-day detox programs with huge success. Swear by those for sure. My question today is, what do you think about collagen powders or products? I'm 58 years old and wonder if I need to use this or if there's any real benefit. If you do recommend them, what's a good one to use? I follow your clean eating menu from the detox and exercise about 20 minutes, 6 days a week. Thank you in advance. You're so kind to share your wisdom in so many ways, Camille. All right, so really great question in there, and you're 58 years young. And so what we're looking at is, do you need to use collagen powder? Well, let's look at it this way. I'm going to do a whole show on collagen powders. I'll do a 15-minute episode on either a Friday review or maybe a Total Wellness Tuesday. So look for that show in the future. There's different types of collagen that all do different things. There's type 1, type 2, and type 3. And some collagen powders involve all of them. They include all of them. Just keep in mind that a lot of the collagen powders are actually coming from like animal hides and things like that. Now, if you have histamine-based issues, a history of allergies, a history of asthma, those types of things, the collagen powders may exacerbate those mast cells. They may exacerbate mast cell production. They may exacerbate a mast cell-based inflammatory response. However, if we're looking for good hair, skin, and nails, and we're looking to repair the gut, collagen powders can be great. Now, I'm not a big proponent of collagen powders simply because there's so many supplements you can take. So it's kind of like, how many are you going to take? But if you're saying, can I do something to help with my hair, skin, nails, and gut? Sure. You can use collagen powder. Yeah, one of my favorites is just the Great Lakes collagen powder. It's the orange bottle, and people get great results with it. You can use a teaspoon, you can use a tablespoon, you can use 2 tablespoons. And I think the best way to take it is just with some hot water or warm water to make it like a little tea. And you can do that with dinner, after dinner, however you'd like to do it. You can do it between meals if you'd like. It's simply protein. And what you're going to get, one of the main reasons that I like it is that there's a lot of glycine in collagen. And glycine, a lot of people know glycine is good for the gut, no doubt about it. But what a lot of people don't know is that glycine is needed for phase 1 and 2, mainly 2, liver detoxification support. So if we up our glycine, we actually help with detoxification on a daily basis. So a great product to use. I have no problem with you using it. Of course, you want to test everything as a variable, meaning you have a great diet right now. Everything looks absolutely fantastic. You're exercising, really doing a lot of great things. Just make sure you get some sauna in there. You do some dry brushing, maybe a little bit of rebounding. I mean, those are some great anti-aging based protocols. And if you're really worried about your hair, skin, nails, I'd also use a little bit of vitamin C. That will also help with immunity, and maybe at least take that during the winter months. Okay, so that's what I would do. So what I would say of variables is this. Keep everything the same, and your only new variable change for 1 week will be adding in some collagen powder and see how you do. You could add it to your all-in-one smoothie that you do every single morning. It'll make it a lot thicker, so some people like it, some people don't. Or you could simply do it between meals, or what I typically recommend is simply after dinner as a little bit of a warm drink. For warmth is always good for digestion, but also you get a little bit more protein. You're going to be going to bed, and also that's when detoxification is taking place. So hopefully this helps. Cindy is up next. Hello there, Stephen Cabral. God bless you and your team for all you do for everyone. My question is, I'm suffering from fibroids for like 3 months. I cramp all day, every day, and now have low back pain. What can I do to shrink these fibroids? Please help. Thank you in advance. Okay. So, Cindy, I work with women with fibroids, PCOS, blood sugar dysregulation, estrogen dominance, infertility-based issues on a weekly basis. And I'm happy to help share some of that knowledge, experience, and lab testing with you. So this is what we do. If any of these issues are going on, hands down, we need to do an adrenal and hormone test. If you want to step it up to a higher level, you would do the weight loss or weight maintenance test, which is on the weight loss page at stephencabral.com/store. So what we do there is very plain and simple. It's not really for weight loss, but you need all these things to be working in order to lose weight as well. So it tests cortisol throughout the day, so 4 times throughout the day. It tests estrogen, it tests progesterone, it tests testosterone, and it tests DHEA. Now, besides that, it tests your T4, your T3, TPO, blood sugar. It's going to test insulin. It's a great lab. It tests vitamin D as well. Sorry, not blood sugar, but insulin. Hemoglobin A1C, actually, to be specific. So that's an amazing test. That's hands down what I would do. If you can do one lab test, I would do that. Now, I want to give you specifically a whole podcast that you can listen to on fibroids, and that is episode 491. So just go to stephencabral.com/491. But what I'm going to do today for everyone listening right now, simply go to stephencabral.com/575, and then everything mentioned today, products and lab tests and links to other podcasts, will be at that website page, which is stephencabral.com/575. Cindy, I hope that helps. And if those were not the answers you were looking for on that episode 491, please just feel free to write back in. Okay. Mary Ann is up next. Hi, Dr. Ball. I've listened to all of your podcasts, and I want to thank you for all the education you provide in the area of naturopathic medicine. I've learned so much that has changed the lives of myself and my family. I have an interesting problem that I want your opinion on. 5 months ago, my left knee developed a painless effusion that since then has recurred approximately every 10 days. Okay, so for people who don't know what effusion is, it is basically swelling of the knee joint. And so it kind of blows up like a balloon, and it's mostly water retention. Okay, She goes on to write, during that time, the knee is quite stiff, difficult to move, lasts for 2 to 3 days, and then resolves itself between exacerbation. Let's see, I've done my blood work, my PCP, it was negative for Lyme, RA, inflammatory markers, my PCP was at a loss. I've eliminated gluten and sugar, but sometimes indulge. I rarely eat dairy. I have researched the internet and read about intermittent hydrothrosis, which seems to describe my problem exactly. I'm reluctant to see a rheumatologist because this is somewhat manageable, although frustrating during the days my knee is swollen. It doesn't hurt, but can slow me down. I'm a 54-year-old post-menopausal woman in good health, not overweight, and no chronic health problems. I plan on doing your 7-day detox, but I'm also wondering what else I can do to address the problem. I'm afraid this could evolve into RA or some other autoimmune illness. My father had RA. I really appreciate your time in addressing my health concerns. Thanks again for all your podcasts and great information. Okay, Marianne, I'm happy to help you with this question. And what I'd like to do is just kind of paint the picture for people. So essentially, Marianne, every 10 days or so, her knee swells up like a balloon, and it's 3 or 4 times the size of the other knee. She's referring to it as intermittent hydrothrosis. Also, typically, I've heard it referred to as periodic synoviosis, which is or called benign synovitis. And it's just talking about the synovial joint and how it gets inflamed. That's basically it. There's no real known reason why this happens, but I'll let you know why I see it happen in my practice, and then you can kind of take it from there. All right, so 2 different reasons why this happens. One is I work with a lot of athletes, and I see this all the time. And so the reason why it might happen with athletes is there's a little bit of what's called internal rotation of the femur, so that's the upper leg bone. So it rotates in. It basically rotates in towards the other leg. And then what happens is, because of tight calves, because of poor ankle mobility, the lower leg actually rotates in the opposite direction. So it externally rotates, and there's 2 bones in the lower leg, 1 bone in the upper leg, and they're moving in different directions. Now, since the knee is a hinge joint, what happens is that creates a little bit of friction in the actual joint. Now, the meniscus is there. The meniscus can become inflamed as well. And so sometimes people actually find out later that they have some type of meniscus-based tear. They either have to have a meniscectomy, or my recommendation is always just to give it 6 months, because usually even with a meniscus-based tear, that's enough time even for the outer or inner part of the meniscus, which gets a little less blood flow, to actually repair on its own. Or that little piece of meniscus that's hanging off actually just comes off, and then there's no more pain, or there's no more irritation. Now, there is some relationship, though, between this condition that Marianne has and inflammation of the bursa. So, Marianne, what I'd like you to do is go back and listen to episode 555. And, of course, you can just go to today's show notes, which is episode 575, and you'll get the link for that. So, check out my one on hip bursitis, okay? There's bursas in different joints, and when they become inflamed, they basically blow up. And so what I'd like you to do is check out what I made for recommendations on hip bursitis, because those same recommendations can be made for knee bursitis and inflammation. Really, really important that you check out that show, and I won't reiterate all those different points. And then my last point is rheumatoid arthritis is a factor potentially in this periodic synoviosis. And so when we look at that, we say, okay, well, even if it is, now remember, this can't give you an autoimmune illness. That's not how it works. You have to have the autoimmune issue typically being exacerbated from gut-based issues. So my recommendation is to run an organic acids test. And if you run an organic acids test and you see bacteria in your urine, and you see yeast or fungus in your urine, and you see detox-based issues and all of those things, then you could say, okay, well, I have to clear up and clean up my gut without a doubt, and then that's going to help me resolve, we'll call it dirty blood right now, and that's going to cause less of an autoimmune-based reaction. So you said you plan on doing the 7-day detox. Keep in mind the Dr. Ball detox, way before it was even called the Dr. Ball detox, it was 3 years. When it wasn't called the Dr. Ball detox, it was just the 21-day detox I did in my practice, and literally never ever planned on bringing the Dr. Ball detox out to the world. At no point did I say, I need to come up with a detox I can give to people. It's not it. I use the 21-day detox. It's a functional medicine detox. I just created it at the best price possible. A detox like this would cost $300 like elsewhere. It's a very expensive, great product that we sell for only $99 per detox and $269 for 3 weeks. That is it's an unbelievably inexpensive price, especially since it costs more to buy food for the 3 weeks. Anyway, it's my highest recommendation for you, and I really couldn't recommend that enough. The 21-day detox, but running the organic acids test would be my first place to start, and then listen to that episode 555. Okay, Maya is up next. She's writing in, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. I've been struggling to lose weight in the lower half of my body. I also experience extreme brain fog, difficulty focusing, and unable to have an orgasm. I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, adrenal fatigue, gut permeability, and Epstein-Barr. I've done a lot of functional testing, and most recently I did a neuroadrenal test from neuroscience that showed I have low sympathetic tone, high immune activation, and central imbalance, low serotonin, epinephrine, norepinephrine, and high cortisol levels. I have taken countless supplements, and they don't seem to make a difference. I've experimented with paleo, AIP, and ketogenic diets. I've tried various types of exercise, including HIIT, circuit resistance training, yoga, qigong, etc. I meditate, journal, and practice self-love regularly, and I'm getting frustrated with the lack of results. Would love any advice on any or all of the above. Thank you so much for everything you do. I wish all doctors were like you. Best, Maya. Maya, really appreciate that. Thank you for writing in. And again, I don't have your lab tests in front of me. I couldn't recommend enough working with one of my health coaches. Julia Hayes and Caitlin are amazing health coaches. And whenever they have a question, like if they haven't seen it before, they run it by me. So you're always going to get the same exact recommendations. Even if you were not working with me, you'll get the same from them. So I couldn't recommend enough. I'm showing them those labs, getting specific recommendations. But here's the thing. You're taking a lot of supplements, you're talking about this, you're talking about that. This is a really clear case of the high cortisol, like you just talked about, and the high norepinephrine. But what's happening is it's leading to symptoms of estrogen dominance. Now, hopefully you've listened to the past couple hundred episodes of the Cabral Concept. If you haven't, I have answered all of this in depth. I'm not going to even link back to other shows, because if you want, you can just type in estrogen dominance to stephencabral.com/podcast. And there's so many shows on it. You have every single symptom. Remember, brain fog, difficulty focusing, lowered libido or lowered orgasms, weight gain only around the hips. That's estrogen dominance. Like, clean, very clean, very simple estrogen dominance. The only thing you didn't name is like thinning hair and maybe some acne around the chin. Like, you'd have everything of estrogen dominance. The paleo diet, sure, is fine. We have to get some carbs in there. The ketogenic diet would not be good at all. High intensity interval training would not be good at all. Yes, some resistance training. Yes, yoga, absolutely. Yes, qigong. Yes, meditating. All of those things to lower cortisol. Without a doubt. That's how you get better. Again, you can work with a practitioner. Sounds like you have a great practitioner to work with. Clear up that Hashimoto's. But, keep in mind your body's under attack because you have this intestinal permeability, this leaky gut. Your Epstein-Barr, don't even worry about that for right now. I know a lot of people are going to say, take care of that. But until you seal up your gut wall, your immune's going to be activated. It's supposed to be activated. Remember, your body's not messing up. Your immune system is supposed to be on high alert if you have intestinal permeability, because proteins are seeping through your gut wall. Bacteria is seeping through your gut wall. Yeast and mold and fungus is seeping through your gut wall. If that's happening, your immune system's supposed to be there to clean it up. That's not a mess up. So work on your gut, do our candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol, seal up the gut wall. At the same time, start using the daily smoothie. Tell your body that everything's okay. It's not a survival-based state. Everything's going to be good. I'm telling you, all of this, we work with this literally on a daily basis. This is daily basis for us. Yes, it's complicated stuff, but if you start there, you're going to do great. That's basically what you're looking at. And if you need help, feel free to reach out to us. We can do Skype calls. We do half our practice is Skype calls. We'd be happy to help you out. Okay, Jen is up next. I was reading an article and how boosting IGF-1 protein by eating certain foods in a particular order can get rid of cellulite permanently. I wonder what your thoughts were on this. If cellulite is a toxicity issue, then what's the best way to get rid of your cells of all those toxins? Would eating these foods do it? Okay, so the number one way to build up toxins in your body is to eat proteins. Now, again, I say that kind of like tongue-in-cheek because you have to eat protein. I'm not saying that you shouldn't eat protein, but your body has the hardest time dealing with proteins. That's kind of plain and simple, because proteins are those building blocks of our body, but when we're not digesting them properly, they're going to ferment, putrefy in our gut. They're going to cause all sorts of gut dysbiosis. They're also the biggest aggravant when they seep through the gut wall. Yes, sugars like the fructo, oligo, di, and polysaccharides are going to be issues for yeast, candida, and bacterial overgrowth in IBS, Crohn's, colitis, candida, SIBO, all those fun digestive issues that we have to deal with, and I had to deal with myself. However, when we're looking at cellulite and all of those items, we are looking at toxicity. Now, I've done many, many shows on cellulite. So dry brushing, hands down, one of the best ways to move that lymph. This is a lymphatic-based issue. Fats, proteins, they clog up our lymph. So now, again, you need to eat them, but we need to keep our body active. Dry brushing, rebounding. Just type in dry brush on stephencabral.com/podcast. You'll see all sorts of ones on dry brushing. And if you type in rebound or rebounding, you'll see a podcast on rebounding. Now, if you go to the show notes page today, stephencabral.com/575, I'll link up show number 221. That was how to get rid of cellulite. That will tell you exactly what we do literally on a weekly basis at both locations. We have a body transformation center and we have a functional medicine center in Boston. So, it's straightforward. What I recommend is please don't fall for all the how to increase IGF-1. Here's the issue. If you increase IGF-1 protein, so IGF-1 is just in a lot of anabolic proteins, such as meat and dairy. When you do that, it could cause more cellulite, but what we're really worried about are the longer-term effects with tumors and those types of things. Again, I know that there are levels, and you have to eat a lot of it, and it have to be the majority of your diet, but simply put, you don't need to do any of that stuff for cellulite. What you need to do is do something like a 14 or 21-day Dr. Ball detox, or choose the detox of your choice. You can also do a greens powder to get a little bit more alkaline minerals in your system. You're going to do the dry brushing. It takes 2 to 3 minutes before you get in the shower every single morning. You can do your rebounding. That takes 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes a day. That's it. Very, very simple. You can do your weight training. You're going to do massage. You can do self-massage, which costs nothing, to keep working on essentially restructuring the adipose tissue between the muscle cells, between the muscle tissue, so that it doesn't look as bumping. Again, you'll do the 21-day detox to rid your body of toxins. You'll look for gut-based issues. You'll clean up your diet, and you'll be good to go. Okay, hopefully that helps, Jen. Thomas is up next. And again, Jen, I did a whole show on this on episode 221. Thomas is up next. Love your podcast. Everyone talks about ways to lose weight, but how about if you want to put on 10 pounds? I went gluten-free about 3 years ago and on what I would call a whole foods diet. I love the results, less inflammation. I've had back surgery 10 plus years ago, had a little swelling around the scar for years, and the gluten-free diet really helped with that and with what the doctors were calling arthritis, but it really was inflammation. With that all said, I went from 185 to 170. I'm 6'2", pretty active, and can easily carry another 10 pounds. I'm one of those people who doesn't put on weight easily. Even when I ate anything, it was hard to maintain 185. Any ideas on how to put on weight? Absolutely. So 2 main things, Thomas. This is it. And what I would recommend, and we'll make this our last question of the day, is, Thomas, can't recommend enough that when you're weight training, that you don't do it every day, every other day, 3 times a week, okay? Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Now, really important that at least 2 of those days you are training your legs. Keep in mind, from your hip bone, it's called your iliac crest. You can feel it on the side of your hip, right underneath what we affectionately call our love handles. Now, for someone who's trying to put on weight, there's not going to be any love handles there. That's just your hip or your oblique. Okay, from that bone all the way down to your kneecap. That, remember, I talked about earlier in the show, where there's only one bone there. That's your femur. It's the only part in your body that's really like that except your upper arm, but your upper arm typically isn't nearly as big as your leg. Now, from your kneecap to that top of that hip bone, that's 60% of all of the lean mass in your body. That is it. If you train that area, you're going to put on weight. Then, by building up your legs, your glutes, your hamstrings, your adductors, your quads, by building up that part of your body, your upper body will then be able to grow as well because you built the foundation. Now your upper body can sit on that foundation. Plus, by training your legs, you're going to boost testosterone, boost DHEA, boost natural growth hormone, really good for building muscle. Now, you want to make sure that you're taking in a lot of carbs before and after your workout. Now, people, of course, are on the low carb train, the keto train. Please get off that train. When you want to put on weight, it's not necessarily more protein and it's not necessarily more fat. Yes, eat those macros as well, for sure. But what I've learned over the years working with what we call hard gainers, people who have a difficult time putting on weight, it's all about the carbohydrates. Now, that doesn't mean you need to eat processed foods, but you certainly need to eat more carbohydrates. And if someone says you should stick to 100 to 120 grams of carbs maximum per day, please let them know that you are most likely an ectomorph and that does not apply to you. So you don't have the same blood sugar regularity issues, those types of things. So again, you can look at your blood sugar, you can test it with the glucometer, but what we're recommending are a lot of carbs before your workout so that you don't catabolize your muscle tissue during your workouts, and a lot of carbs after your workout. These could be smoothies with a couple cups of fruit before and after. It can be sweet potatoes, it could be rice, it can be quinoa, it can be oats, it can be yams, it can be whatever you'd like, whatever works for you. But what I want you to do now is simply track your calories. And then I want to increase your carbs by at least 100 grams of carbs per day. Again, a lot of people would love to be in your situation right now. They're listening right now. They're saying, I wish I could increase my carbs by another 100 grams per day. But Thomas is clearly an ectomorph and needs to put on more weight and wants to put on more weight. And the only way to do that is to keep up with his energy demands, which means energy. Okay, what's the best form of energy? Carbohydrates, glucose. Very simple, very straightforward. Do it strategically before and after your workouts. Make sure you get enough at each of your meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, but then also pre-workout shake or, just meal, and post-workout as well. So Thomas, that's the way to be. Hopefully that helps. Please let us know if you have any other questions. Thank you everyone for tuning into another Cabral House Call. Looking forward to answering more of our community's questions tomorrow. Stay tuned. Check back then. Thank you for just tuning into the Cabral Concept. It's hard to believe, but it's already the month of August. This means that the summer will soon be over and we'll be getting back into our fall routine, which for the most of us means cleaning up our nutrition and getting back into a healthy regimen. This is why during the month of August 2017, I want to offer you a free bottle of my daily probiotic support with any 21-day Dr. Cabral Detox package. This means you'll get all of the wellness benefits associated by doing the Dr. Cabral Detox, and if you're looking to lose weight, you can lose up to 15 pounds in just 21 days. Plus, I'm going to send you out the 60 capsule bottle of my dairy-free, low-histamine 50 billion CFU daily probiotic support. This is the exact same one I use every day as part of my Dr. Cabral daily protocol. I feel so strongly that the 21-day Dr. Cabral Detox is the first place most people should start that I'm offering $30 off the retail price and another $39.95 in savings with the daily probiotic support bonus offer. This is an almost $70 in savings for the highest quality, non-GMO, third-party tested functional medicine nutritional supplements on the market. To take advantage of this limited time offer, simply go to stephencabral.com/store for details.